Hello, everyone. I have a question for you today. When control fails, what capacities shape your leadership? My name is Vanessa Haripersad, and in moments of uncertainty, I know that it feels like you're breaking. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're not breaking, you're just reorganizing. I am the founder and CEO of Shankara People Solutions, a transformational leadership and resilient coach. I share this slide because for me, this has taken 10 years of accumulating merits of resilience. 10 years ago, something extraordinary happened that changed my life. And today, I'm going to share my story. This picture is a picture that I took a few days ago. I'm currently in the UK. I was given a talk on resilient leadership and the self-aware leader at Side Business School at the University of Oxford, sharing my personal journey of resilience with an engaged audience, I have to say. And I was awarded recognition for what they called an inspiring talk. This picture shows the mayor of Oxford and the councillor of the district giving me this award. I put this picture here because if you asked me 10 years ago, when I thought I might not live to see another year, this was not something I would expected to have been able to show you today. So there were 3 moments in time that led me to the stage. And this is my story. 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition. It started off, and I'm going to take you on a journey since I can't see you, but I know you can see me. So I invite you to visualize with me. Please close your eyes for a moment and imagine that it's a cold winter's day in June in South Africa, and you have just started a new job, your dream job. You're working for a global pharmaceutical company, you get to travel. It's everything you've wanted. You've been performing really well, and your manager takes you and your team out for a team building to a beautiful spa. You come out of the spa and you're driving back on the road, and you suddenly feel a numbness in the back of your head, at the base of your neck. It slowly spreads from the bottom halfway up your head until you cannot feel anything. Then suddenly everything goes black. A few minutes later, there are car horns blaring, people shouting. You open your eyes and realize that you are on the wrong side of the road, facing oncoming traffic. You swerve quickly to the right to get off the road and into a parking lot, missing a head-on collision by a few seconds. At that moment, you know something's not right. For a few months after that, 9 months exactly, there's a myriad of symptoms that you face. Constant digestive issues, losing weight, losing hair, losing teeth. And the doctors keep saying, it's just a virus or it's just an infection, and you get antibiotic after antibiotic. But they can't figure out exactly what's wrong with you. You then start losing feeling in your legs from the tip of your toes until the top of your thighs, from the tip of your fingers until the top of your shoulders. And you tell no one because you've just started a new job and you don't know if it's a psychologically safe place to share yet. So you keep it hidden. You go to work by stuffing your feet in your shoes, and you come home. When you take off your shoes, you scream in pain because it feels like you're walking on hot coals. That was my life in 2015. Eventually, I had to have my gallbladder removed. And at the end of 9 months, I was told that I had lupus. It takes on average 6 years to diagnose someone with lupus because the disease mimics every other condition. That was the first moment. The second moment was deciding that I was not going to let this disease decide my quality of life. I accelerated everything that I wanted to do and brought it forward. My timelines changed, my attitude changed, my motivation changed. I wasn't going to fight the disease, but I wasn't going to be a victim either. And so I developed a resilient leadership framework. This helped me navigate the workplace and manage the disease. It led me through self-awareness to understand my body, understand my limitations. I started a wellness club, a team in my previous company, Novo Nordisk. It started off with 1, then went to 10. Over the years, I became a regional wellness ambassador and then a global wellness ambassador, working across the globe, working on pilot projects, staying overseas for 6 months, working on pilot stress programs. And just before I left in 2024, my team won the Global Health Award, competing in 70 countries. My campaign, It Starts With Me, was a challenge to every employee to remind them that their health was in their hands. 2 years ago, I left to start my own business and started to share my story. There were moments where I was in extraordinary pain, but I kept moving using my resilient framework. I thought that everything was going right as planned. I was alive, I was grateful, and I was doing what I love to do, helping other people with my story, being a leadership coach and a resilient coach, helping people build their own resilient system. And then 2 months ago was the third moment. I had a bacterial infection, and for a couple of months, I could not walk or could not get out of bed. I started to lose a lot of weight, and over one weekend, started to faint. So I was rushed into the emergency ward, thinking that I was just there to get some hydration. The doctor walked into the emergency room and gave me the news that I was not prepared to hear. The doctor said to me, "Ma'am, your kidneys have failed." In that moment, no amount of planning could change it. No amount of pushing through could fix it. And I realized something that we don't talk about often enough. We are deeply conditioned to rely on control. I thought I was in control of my health and the disease for the last 10 years. We're conditioned to control our outcomes, our perceptions, and ourselves. And in that week, when I was in hospital, admitted into high care for 10 days with a catheter, all sorts of colored wires connected to me, a blood pressure monitor connected 24/7, checking my blood pressure automatically every 15 minutes, having blood taken every day, twice a day, eventually having a blood transfusion in order to sustain me, having multitude of antibiotics because of infections. I reached a deeper level of awareness. At first, I was quite resentful and angry. I've survived lupus for 10 years. Now they're telling me I need to make a decision to go on dialysis. I'm too young, I said. I don't want to leave my kids. All I could think of was, what if I die in this week? And the fear gripped me every moment. My kidneys were not healing, of course. And so I had to connect with myself and go into a very deep level. And so I asked myself, what happens when control is no longer an option? I turned to nature for answers. Here's the story of the caterpillar and the chrysalis. A caterpillar does not become a butterfly by trying to control the process. It enters a chrysalis, a cocoon. And in that chrysalis, something extraordinary happens, even frightening. It dissolves completely into what scientists call imaginal cells, the blueprint of what it is becoming, it is going to become. But what's fascinating is that at first, the existing structure, the identity of the caterpillar, attacks these cells because it sees it as a threat. And that's what transformation feels like. It feels like loss before it feels like growth. But this is where real transformation truly begins. And real leadership is truly revealed. Not when things are predictable, but when your old ways of operating no longer work. When control fails and you're asked to become someone you were never before. So I invite you to look at resilience through these four capacities, four leadership capacities that transform leadership under pressure. Self-awareness, compassion, curiosity, and resourcefulness. Self-awareness. Because you cannot lead what you cannot see. Most leaders focus outward. In uncertainty, they worry about the problem, other people, outcomes. While I sat in that hospital room in high care, not being able to feed myself, bathe myself. I worried about all the things that were dependent on me, all the work tasks that needed to be done. I could not focus on myself. The real question and the real focus should be on the inside. What's happening within you? What are your patterns, your fears, your need for control? And in that hospital room, everything came to the surface. Self-awareness is what allows you to notice when you are reacting instead of responding. It's the moment you step out of autopilot. The second is compassion. And this is where most high performers struggle. I've always considered myself a high performer. So compassion is something I didn't have too much time for. We've always been taught that pressure produces results. So we turn that pressure inward. We become harder on ourselves, more critical, less forgiving. But inside the chrysalis, transformation is not driven by force. It's supported by conditions that are created by compassion, not by pressure. You cannot sustain leadership if you're constantly at war with yourself. Compassion changes how you meet yourself in moments of difficulty. In that week, I stopped the struggle, the internal dilemma, the trying to fix everything, trying to be in control. I met myself with kindness. Because compassion is not weakness, it's the soil in which growth becomes possible. I said to myself, it's okay. I surrender. Whatever comes, I'm ready. Curiosity. This is the pattern interrupter. It's what interrupts fear most of the time for leaders. Fear asks, how do I fix this? Fast. It tightens control, it shuts down possibility. But curiosity asks a different question. What is this moment asking of me? And I sat with that question in that room. What is this moment asking of me? And I said, how can I be so ungrateful? There are people who have lupus who have suffered more, and I've had 10 great years. I will go through this next days with grace. And so I went to sleep. I had a moment where I said to God, Lord, I surrender. I know that you can heal me. There is no place for fear and faith together. There's only place for one. Curiosity creates space where new thinking becomes possible. This is where the imaginal cells, the future version of you, begin to take shape. Curiosity is the doorway from the old identity into what you're becoming. And it was definitely the doorway for my new becoming. Resourcefulness. When control disappears, what remains is not perfection, but the ability to adapt. Resourceful is not about having all the answers. It's not about pushing through regardless. It's not about maintaining the performance. Resourcefulness is trusting you can navigate without a map, responding to what's available, adapting from what remains. Most leaders avoid the chrysalis. because it feels like loss and uncertainty. But that's exactly where transformation happens. Leadership is not tested when everything is working. It's tested in the moments your old identity, your chrysalis, begins to dissolve and something new is trying to emerge. So, this is the framework, the SCCR. In moments where your resilience is truly tested, this is your personal system, something you can access to ask yourself, what is happening within me right now? Am I meeting myself with kindness? And if not, why not? What is this moment asking of me? What is stopping me from doing what it is asking of me? What am I afraid of? What would change if fear was not in the room? Resourcefulness. Can I trust myself to navigate this? And the answer is always a resounding yes, you can. Faith is a resource, and faith was my resource during my chrysalis moment. So the question is not how do I stay in control? When leading through uncertainty, it seems like we're always asking this question, no matter what's happening on the outside. But my invitation to you in trying to become a resilient leader is to look within. Rather ask, who do I become when control is no longer an option? And who do I want to become when control is no longer an option? What do I need to change in order to become that? Who can help me to get there faster? Like the caterpillar, you are not breaking, you are reorganizing. The question is, will you resist or will you develop the capacity to lead through it? My caterpillar moment. When I completely surrendered to God, leaving healing in His hands, I had a vision of the doctor coming into the hospital room and saying, I've never seen these results before. It's a miracle. Your kidneys have healed overnight. The next day, the doctor walked into the room. My husband had been traveling and walked in at the room a few minutes before. And the doctor had this worried look on his face. And my heart for a moment started to race. I could feel the fear starting to take over. But I took a deep breath and calmed myself. It's going to be okay. The doctor looked at us both and said, I've never seen results like this. It's a miracle. Your kidneys have recovered. In that moment, I burst into tears. My heart was so full. I knew for sure it was a miracle. I didn't know what I deserved, what I did to deserve it, but I was so grateful. Over the next coming days, my kidney started to heal like it was a new kidney. Continuously tried to shock the physician and the nephrologist. I'm glad that during that week, I asked for space. When I was being pressured by the nephrologist to make a decision about dialysis, I took a moment to step back and said, please, give me some space. I had further news before I left. There are no markers for lupus, they said. Did you even have it? I laughed. What do you mean? They stopped all my medication. I've been suffering with intense pain for 10 years. I've been taking chronic painkillers. I get 30 a month, extremely strong, high strength, the ones you take after surgery. I've fainted across the world, been crouched in bed, unable to move. I came out of hospital waiting for that pain to come back. And it hasn't. It's been 2 months now. All chronic pain and inflammation have disappeared. I have no lupus, and my kidneys have completely recovered. That is my story. I hope that it inspires you to look deep within yourself and open yourself up to possibilities and miracles, because I can tell you that there are miracles still happening in the world. My name is Vanessa Haripersad. You can contact me on these details. I'm a resilient coach. I believe that resilience is very personal and you can cultivate it intentionally with a little bit of guidance. I hope that if you're struggling, you will reach out to me and I can be your guide. Thank you so much for listening and have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye-bye.